So if your goal is getting lean and you're looking to take your body down to 15% body fat or 12 or 10% body fat, in this video, I want to share with you 5 hard truths about getting lean that you need to know in order to make sure that your hard work that you put into this area of your life is going in the right direction. This video doesn't have any quick fixes. It doesn't have anything that's magical. It has the truth that you need to know to make sure you're going to get results and get the job done. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. Hard truth number 1, energy balance doesn't lie. If you're following a diet right now, if you're sticking to a plan consistently for the last several weeks and you've done your work, you're not losing weight, it means that you're not in a caloric deficit. By definition, your body has not found the need to mobilize the fat that you currently have because you're eating enough calories. And that's what it boils down to. I know people don't want to hear this. This doesn't mean you're a terrible human being if you can't stick with it, or if you're not in a caloric deficit right now. This doesn't mean I'm a terrible human being if I had a couple of licks, bites, and snacks that I didn't count or forgot to count or didn't know how many calories they have. But the truth is, these numbers matter. This doesn't mean the diet quality doesn't matter, but ultimately it does boil down to this math equation. Unconsciously, how much you're eating, consciously, how much you're eating, unconsciously, how much you're moving or not moving, how much you're training. All this really matters. This equation that we're figuring out here is something that you can figure out. That's the relief at the end of the day. This is not some kind of woo-woo thing that you're just kind of imagining or guessing. No, this is a matter of physics. And that's, again, a good thing, because once you dial in your numbers, once you find a sustainable, enjoyable, and flexible way for you to be in that caloric deficit, you're gonna crack the code, quote unquote. And that's what it boils down to. People still do want to find that diet that doesn't require any thinking, or the diet that's gonna magically work around calories somehow. There is no such thing. Things like MyFitnessPal help a ton for you to become aware of that intake. Again, we all wish those evening snacks sometimes wouldn't count, or those couple of drinks, or that meal that you ate out, or that quote unquote cheat meal, or whatever you want to call it or justify it. It does count, unfortunately. That is the hard truth. Everything does matter. So you have to be aware of it. You have to take control over it, and you can get the job done, whether, again, it's solo, you want to figure this out, or you want to work with someone. That's also cool. But you do have to figure out your energy balance and put yourself in that caloric deficit if you're ever to hit that 10, 12, or 15% body fat. Hard truth number 2, if you go below this video right now and if you smash that like button as hard as you possibly can, it will actually help you get leaner. It is the only quick fix and shortcut that I know, so please go ahead, hit that like button below to get leaner. And also, jokes aside, means a ton to me as well as the YouTube algorithm as well to push this video out to more people, so please go ahead and do that. Now, moving on to the second hard truth, and something we have to acknowledge and talk about, and that is hunger. People don't want to hear that they're going to be hungry at some point, and you will probably. And now, to which degree and how much, that actually depends. Some individuals aren't as hungry, some people are more hungry, and that's actually something you can do a lot about. So you can clean out your diet, you can actually make sure you're eating enough protein, not going too aggressive on your diet, and all those good things like sleep. But look, at some point, you will feel some hunger, especially if your goals are 10% body fat, and if you're starting above 20% body fat, so you actually have a lot of weight to lose. There's going to be some hunger at some point. And what people don't realize, and they kind of forget this, is that we are state-dependent beings. Just because right now, just the thought of being hungry makes you stressed out, or just the thought of not being able to just eat whatever you want makes you a little bit stressed out, and you go and chew 150 calories of gum and you don't actually track those calories, and believe it or not, I made that mistake. So this doesn't mean that you're going to feel like this forever. This is a phase. And people don't realize this. We're state-dependent. So in this current phase, food is scarce, and your relationship with food is a little bit different. And then when you go on a maintenance phase, you have more food available. Then you go on a gaining phase, there's even more food available. You actually struggle to eat enough, and you don't want to eat more. And this is kind of something that we forget. When you're in a dieted state, when you've been on a diet for a while, you kind of forget how it feels like to be able to eat more, and you actually struggle with eating enough. You actually forget sometimes. So really understand that you're going through a phase. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Once you hit your goal, you're going to go into a maintenance. You're going to eat more. You're going to probably eat more, and if you go to a lean gaining phase, even more. So at the end of the day, it's something that you can accept, that you're going to be a little bit hungry, and then simply move on, get the job done. Don't dabble around with your fat loss phase too long, so you don't spend too long in that caloric deficit. Just get it done, be efficient, and then just simply move on. And that is just the truth. I wish there was some way to just completely eliminate hunger and never ever feel hungry, but that's just not the reality. For the most part, if you're doing this, especially if it's your first cut, you will be hungry at some point, and that is okay. normal part of the process. Accept it. We all have it. Nobody's an exception here. So if I can do it, you can do it. If all my clients can do it, you can also do it. It's just a simple fact. So let's get the job done. Hard truth number 3. If you're currently going through a diet, you should aim to train as hard as possible. And this is the exact opposite to what I see a lot of beginners and intermediates do. Because there's less food on the table, they start telling themselves suddenly that they should expect some performance drop in the gym, that they should expect some strength loss. And then they try less, they aren't pushing themselves as much, and it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a classic example of that nocebo effect. And this is the exact opposite of what you should be doing if your goal is to make the most out of those fat loss phases. And as a beginner and intermediate, you should actually see strength increases for the most part as you're losing body fat, and not even strength, but also muscle mass, especially if you're a beginner. So this is something that you don't want to self-sabotage yourself. So if you're again, going through that fat loss phase, aim to train as hard as possible. I know for myself, if I'm going through a cut, I'm mentally bringing my A game to the gym. I'm pushing myself hard, even though there's less fuel realistically coming into the body. At least mentally, I can show up there. I can show up committed. I can put in that work and get the gains. I'm aiming to make progress regardless of the fact that I know for me as an advanced lifter after training for 10 years, I'm not going to make much progress. I'm aiming to make progress with every session. I want to make that a progress session. I'm aiming for PRs. I'm pushing myself. And I'm not falling for that, oh, because you have a little bit less carbs, you should feel a little bit weaker. No, I'm not willing to accept that reality. And that means I'm bringing my best performance for that day every single time to the gym. I'm trying to make that thing happen. And guess what? I barely see any strength decline while doing my fat loss phase that I've been lifting for 10 years, and I still see a lot of beginners and intermediates complaining how their strength is going down on a fat loss phase when that should not be happening, and the exact opposite should be happening is a strength increase and also gaining some size. So keep that in mind as you're going through this phase of getting leaner. Hard truth number 4. Most people in your life will not understand what you're doing. If your goal is to transform your body, if your goal is to learn how to eat right, how to train, how to do this, that's not most people. Most people will be happy to share their opinions and their comments and tell you you're too skinny, you're too big, you're this and that, you looked better before, whatever. But those opinions are not qualified. Those opinions are random opinions. So please don't let those opinions enter your system and start creating seeds of doubt. These days, everybody's pretending to be a nutrition expert. They read one article somewhere, they keep parroting whatever they read. They don't really understand the topic, but they're happy to, again, give you some piece of advice that is completely off and has nothing to do with you, your situation, what you need to hear, what you don't need to hear. So really be aware of this and don't listen to non-experts. It is something that I see trip up so many people on this journey. You don't want to let those comments enter your life. You can accept them, smile, agree, disagree, whatever, move on. This is your journey, your thing. You don't need that external validation. Nobody needs to validate your journey. You're doing this for yourself. Ultimately, you are the only person who can show up for yourself in the gym. Nobody else can show up for you. You're doing this for yourself. So none of those opinions actually matter. Hard truth number 5. It's not enough just to set the goal of getting leaner. You have to continuously keep reminding yourself of the importance of this goal. And I call this resetting your priorities. And what a lot of people do wrong is, and I see this, and maybe you're in a situation as well, is that in their environment, they might not have people that are into fitness. And maybe you don't have anybody to talk to about exercise, nutrition, psychology, all this stuff that we're talking about here. And this is something that maybe you're very motivated to do right now, but then give it a couple weeks, give it a couple of months. The goal that was a really high priority in the beginning, now it just slowly started fading away. And before you know it, you're back where you started. The priority is no longer there, and you just kept doing what you were doing before. That's exactly what happens. What I'm trying to help you avoid here is that you have to keep feeding your mind. And the good thing about being in the time that we are now is that you have access to videos, blogs, audiobooks, books in general, podcasts, things that can keep feeding your mind to keep bumping this priority up while you're creating that new lifestyle. Because this lifestyle change doesn't happen overnight. It's not just a couple of weeks. This is something that's going to take months and months to reestablish those habits. So while you're in the process, you have to keep reminding yourself that this is a priority. And this is exactly why I invite you to go below this video right now. Make sure you smash that subscribe button as well. Hit that bell icon. Make sure you enable all notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my videos. And also don't forget to hit that like button below if you haven't done that already. Also, if you want to work with me directly as your coach and your mentor, the description has the details for all that. So check out that link there. Other than that, I will see you in that next video.